Welcome, everybody, to the Arm Wrestling Buzz episode 54. I'm your host, Paul Italia. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to my channel. We also got the Arm Wrestling Buzz crew, Matt Hollywood Conley in the house. What's up, Matt? How you doing, brother?
I'm always good, mate. Always good. Happy to be here with you. It's going to be a good show today.
Oh, yeah. So we got a lot to talk about. We got a lot of great athletes coming on tonight that are going to be competing in the upcoming Knuckles Up 3. But before we have our guests on tonight, there's a little situation I'd like to confront tonight, and that is with the whole Engin Terzi issue going on. So, guys, I know, a couple of weeks back, it was 2 weeks ago, I put out a video. If you guys haven't seen it already, I made a clip. It's only, I think, a minute and 56 seconds or something like that. And it's titled Paul Italia Has a Message for Engin Terzi. And it's on my YouTube channel. I put it out on Thursday, April 18th. So in there, I just want to summarize real quick what I spoke about and the points that I made. And the first point is that I was not taking sides between Igor Mazarenko and Engin Terzi with East versus West. Because some people were thinking I was taking the side of Igor, and I just explained in there that I will support any organization that is putting big money into arm wrestling. I will spotlight them. I have no other vested interest. I just am a big fan of arm wrestling, and I want to help grow the sport. I have no any alternative motives to be on anybody's side. The next thing that I made clear in there is the only problem I had with Engin was, I think it was about 6 months ago, he banned me from having an interview with Levan. I was at Viticel 1.0 in Florida, and I hung out with Levan, and we hit it off, and we arranged an interview when he got back home. And 24 hours before the interview, it was shut down by Engin. We will go back to that, but I just want to summarize the video that I put out there. So I also said at the end of that video, make sure everybody goes over and buys the pay-per-view for the upcoming weekend of East versus West, Devin versus Levan. And I made that clear a few times in there, saying that it was the biggest match in arm wrestling history. So 1 week went by and there was no response. I did not hear anything back from Engin. I seen under all the video comments and everything, everybody was saying, why don't you hit him up? Have you talked to him yet? So I was like, you know what? Let me hit up Engin. We used to have a direct line. So I hit him up on the WhatsApp and I sent a message and I started it off and I kind of like greased him real good, man, his ego. And I said that East versus West was the best one I've ever seen. Congratulations. The production was amazing. You're bringing it up to the next level. I'm proud of you, Engin. The next paragraph I went into laying out the problem of how he blocked me with Levan. And the main problem that I had with that was prior to that, anytime we had an issue with either one of us, we would have an open line of communication where we would contact each other and we would talk it out and work things out. I didn't even get that for that. I had a third party, major name in the arm wrestling community, call me up the morning of the Levan interview, which I didn't know how he knew. He was like, "Oh, I heard that you have interview today with Levan," and I was like, "Yes," and he's like, "Yeah, about that, buddy. Sorry, you've been fighting with Engin, huh?" I'm like, "Wait, what? No, I haven't been fighting with Engin at all, bro. Like, what are you talking about?" And he's like, "You sure, man?" I was like, "Hold on, man. Let me go back to my phone and see my last correspondence with Engin." And when I went back, I seen 2 weeks before, it was me hitting up Engin saying, "Hey, brother, if you need any help with anything, let me know. I'm here." He responded, "Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. I'm good." That was our last correspondence. So when I said that to this person, they were kind of in shock. They did not expect me to say that. They thought I was going to know that there was a beef between Engin. I was completely just like right hook. Like it was like I couldn't believe that it just happened. Like I just got the biggest interview of my life on my channel to have Levan on, the king of our sport. And then, I prepared days for this. And then to get, this phone call from somebody I also really look up to in our sport. And I kind of was embarrassed, like him telling me this. And, then he kind of clarified his thoughts of why Engin had a beef with me. And it was because I had Igor Mazarenko on my channel. And I said, bro, what's that about? And he goes, no, I understand you weren't around when Igor and was around, and him and Engin have a past. And there's no way of you knowing that, but he's taken it that you have taken Igor's side and promoting Igor's organization over East versus West. And I was just like, bro, that is crazy. No way. Like, dude, I'm just spotlighting everybody. That's what I do, man. Like, there's no favoritism anywhere. It's arm wrestling. That's what I'm here for. So he said, I would just, give it time, man. I wouldn't go fighting with him, man. That's the guy running the biggest stage in our sport and all. What are you going to do? Go to war with him? I said, all right, you're right, man. I'm going to bite my tongue on this, even though it really bothered me, and, me being a guy that's always backed East versus West, not just as a fan, but actually financially supporting them every way I can, buying multiple shirts, buying the expensive arm wrestling table that was autographed by everybody at East versus West 4. I also sponsored that event. I flew across the country on my own dime. I went to his event, promoted the whole time, gave everybody behind the scenes content, everything. I paid for everything. I paid the VIP package, all to help out Engin, who I always viewed as a friend. Mind you, he was my coach the first year in arm wrestling. Used to be on the phone with him every week for a couple hours and all. So I really looked at him as a friend. So for all this to happen and getting banned from Levan, you got to have that context in mind, because this is literally like, this hurt. This was like, I did not see this coming. Like, I always viewed him as my boy and that we were cool, and then just to have a third party kind of telling me, no, you're not cool with him no more. And I never got any kind of notification from Engin. So what did I do? I waited 24 hours and I thought about everything. And then I hit up Engin on Facebook. I sent him a message and I said, "What was that about, bro? Like, is everything okay?" And he didn't respond. He looked at it and never responded. So right after that day, I deleted him on Facebook as a friend. I said, "All right, I'm just gonna bite my tongue, say nothing, whatever." So 6 months went by and all, and we're here now. We're now up to date and everything. And now I hit up Engin and I say to Engin, I lay everything out for him. I say, I want to squash this. I want to shake your hand, man, and make everything better. And so after I hit him up that day, I just want to go and I want to read what he posted 2 hours after me sending this message to him and him answering back to me, I understand. So I sent him about 5 paragraphs, a whole book of laying everything out, trying to shake his hand, kind of like offering him the olive branch, so that we could be cool again. And he just says, I understand. I'm like, okay, I don't know how to take this or whatever. But 2 hours later, this is on Engin's YouTube channel. This is what he posts up there. Now, this is the second half of it. The first half, he was thanking everybody for the previous East versus West. And this is the second half. He says, and people who did their best to harm East versus West 12 in the last 2 weeks of the event by beating the dead horse once again lost against the true arm wrestling fans. There was also an organized illegal streaming and video sharing to harm the event, but I am happy to say that they have failed because the event was a huge success. We have the solid information about the people who are behind the illegal movement. Fortunately, good people in the community is the majority, and that is why East versus West is keep growing, while people who didn't even pay many athletes competition money have no credit. I have chance to listen to athletes' stories about their past experiences with certain organizers, and many of them are ready to share them with the community if I request. It is also a sign of the character of the people who are working with these people. Athletes feel safe working with me and they trust me, and I am happy to support them as well. Once again, thanks to everyone who supported the event. I'm just like, wow. Like, I'm like, my first response that's directed at me and Igor Mazarenko, and I guess whoever else he thinks is on my side. I wanted to hit him up right away. was like, you know what? My anger might come into play. I'm going to take 24 hours, think this through, and then contact them. I sleep on it. I'm at the same conclusion. I need to hit this guy up and find out what that was about. So I send back to the WhatsApp. I said, Engin, I said, I know you said you understand. I don't know how to take that, but seeing that post 2 hours after, I felt like that was directed to me. This is the voice message I got in return. Now, let me state something before I share our personal conversation voice message. I would never do that to a person. I feel whatever private conversations go between two men should stay between two men and never leave that. Well, Engin went and started sharing that around to his friends and all that. And the reason why I know that is his friend Sal hit me up and said exactly what was said in the WhatsApp and made up a whole bunch of other shit and started cursing me out. So I took a screenshot of Sal to show this. Okay. So this is why I feel it's okay for me now to share his voice message to me. So this was Engin's response to everything I just said.
Point my fingers to you, but you did it. You disrespected a lot publicly. So I will be honest with you. I am from a culture that the disrespect that is done publicly cannot be fixed privately. So if you really have intention to have good relationship with me, uh, I think that this is something that it should be done publicly, not privately.
So I couldn't believe when I heard that. What am I apologizing for? So when I seen that, I said, I responded back and I said, this, you are taking this the wrong way. This is not an apology, Engin. I am not apologizing for anything. This is me as a man putting out my hand to shake your hand and squash a beef. No one needs to apologize. No one has to go in public and say the other one was wrong. We were friends at one time. Friends don't do that to each other. I said, before you go and react to this, because I know how he is and he goes into rage sometimes. I said, maybe you should go and think this over 24 hours. But just remember, I've meant no disrespect to you. All I want to do is be friends again. I want to be an asset towards East versus West, and I want to help support you like we once were. So he looked at it right away, no response. 24 hours and 1 minute, I erased all the messages, knowing anybody that knows Engin has dealt with Engin. I've known Engin for 4 years now. Engin sends a message to you, you are on a timer. If you do not respond in a proper time that he thinks that you should, he's going to delete it. And now you got a problem. Now you might be blocked, you know? So I know how he is with that. I wanted to kind of play the same game back. I was like 24 hours and 1 minute. He didn't answer me. So I went and deleted the message knowing that would fuck with him because that's what he does to us. Well, as soon as I did that, he came online right away, seeing that, didn't say nothing. Okay. So next thing you know, he starts hitting up all the elites. Now, the reason why I know all this, one, it's pretty obviously to anybody in the public that I don't think everybody woke up that one day, the other day, and 20 elites decided to go and make videos about how Engin's got the best integrity. And they all use the same word, integrity. So that was a little weird or whatever. But I have better proof than that. Four of the elites are friends of mine. Contact me directly and straight up said that he contacted them and kind of was just playing this whole thing. I thought me and Paul were cool. Now he's bashing me and trying to take down East versus West. Now, these people probably said, yeah, okay, Engin, know me, And no, there's no way that they know they've been to my house, to my gym that is filled with all East versus West stuff. They know how all my videos on YouTube are supporting East versus West. Even when you block me from Levan, bro, for the last 6 months, I've been promoting your East versus West, telling people to buy the pay-per-view and all that. So he's now trying to turn all his people on his payroll against us. I mean, I just, all I wanted to do tonight was just lay out the facts of what went down. I don't want to actually give my opinion of this ridiculousness that's been going on, other than that it's just ridiculous. But the one thing I am going to say to people, I really think East versus West needs a public relations. They need somebody that could deal with this, because I think it's the worst thing for our top stage, our Dana White of our sport, to be conducting himself the way he is. He's going around bullying people. When he doesn't like your opinion, you are an enemy of the sport now. In fact, you don't even have to state an opinion to have a problem. You could just go and hang out with that person that didn't agree with his opinion, and now you were banned, not even knowing. The other thing is, how does it look when Dana White is throwing, events with the East versus West name on in the States, and one of the athletes has an issue, mind you, a female arm wrestler has an issue, goes and states a problem, and now is getting attacked directly from Dana White with his huge following, 100,000 people, putting misleading info, getting them to attack a paying athlete that came to your event to compete. That is not a good look, bro. Not at all. Also, with all these posts about haters and this and that, is not a good look. If I was your public relations with East versus West, I would ban you from using your social media. That would be the smartest thing that you could do, because this is not going to end good, bro. Engin, you have a gift of making the best matches in history. Do that, bro. Stick to dealing with the athletes behind the scenes, setting these amazing matches that you do. Stop getting in the middle of all this other nonsense that the top guy in our sport should not be even entertaining or doing. It's like, all I see is like acts of a dictator, bro. You're acting like a dictator. You're going around bullying people. You're telling people you can't go on so-and-so's channel, or you will be banned and not welcome back at East versus West. Like, this is getting out of hand, and it's not helping anybody. I don't want to go through this. I don't want to fight with the top promoter in the sport. I want to make better, bro. You're the one that did me dirty. I'm willing to put that in the past and move on just to spread our sport. And I'm not telling anybody not to buy East versus West. I'm still going to buy East versus West because my friends are on the big stage and I'm going to support them. It's not about you, bro. It's about our sport overall. And that's what I'm here for, man. So whatever grievance you have with me, whatever, man, I'm still going to promote East versus West. We don't got to be friends, but we also don't got to go to war with each other, because nobody wins at that. And it's just going to hurt arm wrestling in the sport. And that's all I want to say about that, guys. I hope that we could resolve this. I don't want to go back and forth with this craziness, but I really just, I had to say my piece. I know there's a lot of stuff going around and a lot of drama and all that. I don't want to be part of it and all. I just want the facts out there, and for you guys to make your own decisions of how you feel about it and all. But I'm going to leave it like that. And now I would like to go to a more positive part of the show. And I want to introduce our special guest tonight, because we got a great event coming up May 11th over in Fort Lee, New Jersey. We have Knuckles Up 3. And I cannot wait for this one. And some of our special guests are here tonight. We got Danielle Evensen, and we got
Yes, sir. Hello.
Mega Mike. Welcome, guys. How are you guys tonight?
Doing great. Thanks, Paul. How about you?
Doing well. I had to get this little situation handled.
No, I get it. It's
My
definitely a
chest.
situation that kind of proves that not all PR is good PR.
There you go. There you go. So I want to first start off with you, Danielle. I want to learn a little about you. I want to first learn out how did you get into arm wrestling and how many years have you been pulling for?
So I got into arm wrestling at kind of what I think is a funny time because it was the literal time in America that the COVID shutdown happened. So as soon as we were shutting down and told not to get close to each other, I started a sport of holding hands and being this far from other people's faces. So I kind of like that. But essentially, I was competing at a grip competition at the Arnold Classic in Ohio. Um, and arm wrestling got canceled. But all the athletes were still there. So they started pulling in a bar and um, found them there and was like, well, this looks pretty fun. So I kind of joined in, started doing it, and was like, well, this sport's kind of awesome. So some of the women there actually helped me get connected. Veronica Knight, I think she pulls out of California. She was the first gal I ever arm wrestled. She helped me out, helped me get plugged in. And then the day after that, I got to arm wrestle with Alexandra Asarova. So my intro into arm wrestling was really lucky that I got like the Arnold Classic qualifiers right there to give me my intro. And I found out really soon what all the YouTube videos were talking about with tendonitis, because I went home for a week and I was like, what is this? What's going on? But yeah, so that was my intro, and it was an immediate addiction. I did strongman at the time. Like I said, I was there for a grip competition, which is nice because grip is kind of an arm wrestling cousin. But what was really fascinating to me with how they relate and don't relate is grip and strongman. They help with a lot of kind of like your brute force kind of stuff. Strap pulling came pretty naturally to me, but wrist flexion, I mean, there's really nothing in the weight room that trains that unless you're doing it specifically. And that was probably my biggest thing to work on. And we still are. The wrist is never strong enough. So that was my intro.
And how long were you powerlifting before you got into arm wrestling? And would you say that that gave you the foundation that you have to come in and be so successful so quick?
I definitely believe it was the foundation. 100%. In 2018, I started powerlifting. It was kind of you get out of high school, you stop moving around. I'm 33 now. And then you get into the workforce, you stop moving. And in my mind, I was still a fit person. And then one day I got on the scale and looked in the mirror and I was like, gosh, I'm not fit anymore. What the heck? So I bought a barbell, a squat rack, and I put it in my basement. And through YouTube, I kind of just started teaching myself squat, bench, deadlift, and overhead press. And I got addicted to the weights going up. It was just so much fun. So then I went to a gym. I was like, oh, I got to find a gym now, get access to more equipment. And I met a girl there who did strongman. And growing up in my family, especially my father, always made strength seem really cool. So people that were strong, those people are cool. So I watched World's Strongest Man, and I always wanted to pick up Atlas stones. That was just one of those things that looked so cool to me. But like, where the heck do you get Atlas stones? And she said, oh, we have them in my garage. So I was like, well, awesome. So that kind of got me into strongman. So I believe that laid a huge foundation for arm wrestling, especially because strongman does so much bicep and lat and upper back work. There's so many things that you're picking up. You need to load onto something else or bring from the floor to your shoulders, or single-handing, pressing, that kind of stuff. Very, very bicep heavy, elbow, ouchie, shoulder, chest, and back, very back driven. So that definitely, it was a good thing in arm wrestling because it helped me win a lot early. But that was also a double-edged sword because it took me about 2 years before I actually started arm wrestling well, because I didn't really know I needed technique until I started going to tournaments that had
Because he
women that
didn't
were really good, and
introduce
he taught me a lesson.
Hold on. Is somebody talking on here? Do we have another person on here talking?
Yeah, it's BJ. I didn't know if y'all had me on there or not. I can't see myself.
Yeah, you got to just turn on your screen, BJ.
It's on.
Tap your screen and the menu will come up.
And we're just on live. If you could just figure that out, and then we'll come in a minute.
There we go.
What's up?
Okay. There we go.
All right. Hold on. We're just in the middle of Danielle's story. So
no worries. All good. You're fine.
All of a sudden, I started hearing somebody talk. I'm like, where's that coming from right now?
Nothing wrong with reasons to laugh on a live, right? Okay.
Here we go.
Yeah. Yeah. So to answer your question in short, the lifting foundation, I believe, absolutely helped me on the table, but it just took me probably a little longer than it should have to learn some of the reasons for finesse, like especially just how this simple little riser that I was avoiding by just hooking and dragging as long as I could, and realized, oh, if you don't want to get taken by people that are better than you, you're going to have some strong rise and at least defensive pronation at a minimum. So that's kind of been where my focus has been the last year and a half of my training has been much more wrist focus and not losing pronation, because even though I do like to hook.
In your gym there, I'm just looking at it now on your Instagram, is the cables that you've got attached to the plywood, and just the stretchy bands that you've got. That's really clever. I haven't seen anyone do that before.
So I can't take credit for that. I actually got that from Bob Brown's YouTube channel. I saw it there and watched enough of his videos to just finally be like, I have to have this. So
what does Bob Brown know?
Yeah. Yeah. What are his credentials? I don't know.
Yeah,
seems kind of old to me.
Bob Brown Corner, man. Brown Corner is amazing. You guys check out his YouTube video. He's got it out there, and I think there's one on my channel too, going about the Bob Brown Corner.
Paul, you know all about that. You were there recently.
Yeah, that's my coach. Yep, definitely.
It's taken me many years to win over Bob Brown, and now I think he likes me.
Oh yeah, he definitely does, man. He got to see you in action in Vegas, bro. I think he's a fan for sure.
Yeah.
So we got a super chat from Proving Astrology for $9.99. He says, "Thanks for everything you do for the sport, Paul." Thank you very much. I appreciate that, bro. So Danielle, I wanted to ask you, so what happened when you first got in your first tournament? How did you end up doing and all? I know you were talking about the Arnolds, and I remember when you're telling me the story now, that was the one that got canceled, but then Devin brought everybody over to the bar like next door or something. You guys all
it was a Brothers Columbus, and all the arm wrestlers assembled there. So that was really cool. Even like Todd Hutchins, Alex Belzikov, and it was incredible. And I knew just from social media, maybe a quarter of the people there, but now looking back and now actually knowing everyone, I'm like, holy crap, I had no idea how amazing that was.
But what I want to hear is, how did you do in the first event you actually competed in, actual tournament? Did you or?
So my first event was, so I live in Wisconsin, and it happened that the first event that kind of came up that worked out for me was actually Wisconsin State. And I was fortunate enough to actually come home with the overall win in the women's Wisconsin State. So that was a really encouraging opener, when that's your first event and then you take a state title, and that's the craziest thing that's ever happened to me, and the biggest thing I'd ever won. And my mind exploded and the obsession just went full bore. And because that was, I know when you get into arm wrestling long enough and you're like, oh, a state championship, but that's lives in my heart forever. That's probably one of the best tournaments I ever went to, just because it was so special.
So that was at the point that you were hooked completely. That's when you decide you're all in now. I'm going to bring this to the next level and all.
And what's funny is I go back and I can watch how I arm wrestled during that, and it's hilarious. I'd been arm wrestling for 3 months, and I was just like a stuttery, it was just, can we swear on this or should we not?
Yeah. So
Yeah, I was just muscle fucking it. You know, it was just no finesse. It's really funny.
I'm offended by your language.
Oh, well.
sorry, he's from California.
Oh, from California. Oh, I guess. Are you happy that I have a metal straw?
Yeah,
Does that make up for it?
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
Oh man.
But I'd prefer to see your hair blue. Thank you.
Ooh.
Is her gender okay with you too?
We'll talk about it. Is she
Well,
gender
you see,
fluid?
Paul, you didn't ask what my gender was, so now I'm offended.
Seems like we're all on the same page here.
Yeah. I think we're good.
So I want to welcome BJ. What's up, brother? How you doing, man?
Man, I'm doing good, man. How are y'all?
Doing great, man.
I'm
Appreciate
offended by your first name.
I've been offended by it since kindergarten.
So BJ, you got a big match coming up, man. May 11th, Knuckles Up 3. We know you're going against the big man Mangas. What's your thoughts, bro? And how are you preparing for this big guy?
Well, you know, a lot of people know, if they know me, I hadn't been a big gym guy since I've been pulling a big table time guy. But for this match, I have been in the gym. I've been in the gym actually leading up to this match, dating back to when I pulled Paul in on the Monster Factory. But definitely more here lately. And I know I'm the clear underdog. Hollywood pointed that out on one of y'all shows the other day. I caught that. But no, I understand where I stand, and I know he just beat Tim Bresnan, and Tim's the top 10 guy in the United States. So, I watched that match, and I can only go by Mandagas don't have that many videos to study. But he looks like he's going to be the your typical hook press coming across the pad, diving into. And Tim just to me looked like he was just off. I don't think he was ready to fire off, and Mandagas was ready to fire off. And I'm not the strongest guy in the world, but I am pretty fast to be 315 pounds, and I'm 6'5". So I'm going to see if I can use. And on top of that, I got a decent hand. So I'm going to see what I can do. I do know I'm the underdog.
No.
Yeah, I think you froze.
Oh, it's frozen.
BJ, if you can hear us,
Come
you're
back.
just frozen. Find some service.
Okay, we're gonna go into Mega Mike until BJ comes. BJ,
Oh,
Oh,
he's
there
back,
he
he's
is.
back.
There he is.
Is that better?
We lost you, BJ.
yeah,
You're
yeah,
back now.
back. You froze up, man.
We're picking on California, but y'all got to remember I live in Mississippi, so that tells you all you need to know.
The
We'll
answer's
see
a
if
few
that'll be
things.
better.
So let me ask you, BJ. First off, what is the size of Mandagas, man? Does anybody know like his height and weight?
165 kilos, and he's about 6'2", 6'3".
What is
Wow.
165 kilos in pounds?
Yeah.
So he's little.
Yeah,
He's a
right.
little guy, yeah, a little small. Big smile on him though. He's a lovely guy.
What?
Didn't he pull Arm Wars? I forgot who he pulled.
So, Paul, that's
I saw him
about
at
360 pounds.
Okay, wow. And where are you at, BJ, weight wise?
I'm about 313 exactly this morning, actually.
Okay, wow.
The last time you saw me when we were up in I think Washington, I was about 360. So I've trimmed up a little bit, and I'm stronger than I've been. So
Awesome.
we'll see what happens. We'll see.
And I was reminding everybody the time when you were at my event in Oklahoma, and we had you on. We had a big super match, and it was the Battle of the Giants, and it was you versus Matt Santori, who I think is another 6'6", 400
That's
pounds.
a big guy too.
Exactly, and you were very dominating win that day, and that was when you first really went on my radar, and I was like, holy shit, this dude is no joke. That's why I think a lot of people in North America, not North America, and the rest of the world, kind of sleeping on you, man, and they don't know what to expect, and they're like, oh, Mandagas is gonna run away with this, and I'm like, I'm not so sure about that, man. I know BJ, man. BJ is he puts in the work, and he's a big boy himself, so definitely rooting for you, man. And let me ask you, bro, where do you see yourself? Do you see yourself as the underdog?
Oh, I definitely think I'm the underdog, especially taking when he took the win from Tim here recently. So I definitely believe I'm the underdog. There's not many matches I've ever pulled into where I was the underdog, but I kind of like the feeling. It's a lot less pressure.
Yes.
I've already been to Knuckles Up, so I kind of know what to expect with those guys, even though they step up every time. So I kind of, got a feel for things. I know my way around the hotel we're going to be in. So, I feel good about it. I feel confident. Whether I win or not, I'm gonna at least surprise some people with the way that I pull. We'll see what happens.
I gotta ask Danielle, what's your thoughts on this match? Who's gonna get the win that day between BJ and Mangas?
So I think, who's gonna have to win? Okay, so I'm gonna say just to comment on the underdog thing. I also agree with you. I like being the underdog because you have everything to gain, and I think it's the most fun to root for the underdog because when the underdog wins, it's like it's the best. And then if you end up getting beat, it's not like people are like, oh, the upset of the night. It's
Right.
more just like, okay, yeah, that we were sort of expecting that, but we know we can regroup and a different outcome can happen eventually. However, I think, like you said, you've got speed and you've got a good hand. And when you've got those tools, when you can hit to a good hand position, if you can be fast enough to get the position that you want in your hand, then anything's possible because you can neutralize a lot of strength that way. So I'm definitely not counting you out of that.
Thank you.
Very nice. So I want to move on to Mega Mike now. You know that you got your hands full. We talked about it last week with Wayne Withers and all. What's the game plan, man? I mean, you don't got to give your exact game plan, but what do you got planned for that day?
Well, I've actually got about 3 or 4 things that I think will keep me in the game. It just depending where the match lands. So I have an option for each stage of each match. So if I end up in one lane, I know what I'm going to do. If I end up in another lane, I know what I'm going to do. And then I even have a plan for if I end up on the ropes. So my tool belt has been adding more and more tools this last year and a half, which has been nice. So I've got options. I think I have the power for him. The problem's going to be his levers. He's really tall. He's got a ginormous hand. He knows how to rise through hands and bust wrists back. So I know what I'm dealing with. Me and Derek Smith pulled a few days ago, and I put some of my theories to work, and they seem to work in those specific scenarios. So it's just I kind of have to drive the match into these scenarios.
That's a perfect training partner for this match, bro. That Wayne
Right.
and Derek, man, that's a nice, size comparison right there, and that's you could definitely learn a lot from that.
And I know Derek took a loss with Matt Mask and what have you, but Derek's got more muscle than Wayne. I believe he's got more side pressure. I think Derek was just saying like Wayne's hand is a lot. So I just got to kind of
saying, as far as that day you were pulling with him, his thoughts on your match. Did he mention anything?
Who, Derek?
Yeah, what was he thinking was going to happen?
He says I definitely have my hands full. He thinks I'm the underdog, but I can pin Derek, and so in my mind I can pin Wayne.
Okay.
And Derek knows how to pull me, so if I can slow Derek down, or we can trade wins back and forth, he knows exactly how to pull me. So my power level is definitely high right now, even though I'm lighter. I'm about 250, 255. But I haven't lost any strength, so there's no excuse for my size, other than I wish I was 6'8".
Is this the largest opponent you've ever gone against?
And no, Derek and Corey West. Like Corey West in mass and Derek in height.
Yep.
So. I feel like losing weight does not hurt your arm wrestling power as much as it does like your max squat or deadlift. Like you can still get, like I feel like my weight can come down and my arm wrestling strength can keep climbing. Whereas that's hard to do for like heavy compound lifts. It feels like grip and arms don't really follow that rule.
Well, I mean, I agree with you to a point. For me personally, with how my body works, as a Californian would say, my truth. How I lose the weight determines how much power, and I've kind of and I've perfected what works for me. So I'm losing the weight slow and taking my time. I'm keeping my CNS system working with the heavy weights. So
awesome.
It's definitely a process, but I agree with you too. So,
but you're right. Doing it right is the key. And there is going to be a point of diminished returns of getting too late.
Right.
And yeah.
Yeah, I've
That's
also
what you're
seen.
dealing with right now, isn't it, Paul? You're going down and your strength is going up.
Yeah, exactly. I'm on my way down, so I'm actually learning that as we speak. And before this, I did a drastic cut where I cut too fast and went down to that 176, and I feel like I lost a lot of power. But I also it was a lot. It was before I actually was becoming a good arm wrestler and understood arm wrestling. So I'm experimenting with it now, and hopefully could keep the same power and all. But I know my gym lifts are definitely going up and my weight's going down.
Yeah, when you're an athlete, your body is your experiment all the time, and we're
Oh,
just keep
right.
learning.
I feel like I discover something new about me like once every 6 months. I'm like, oh, that's kind of working. That's
Yep,
cool.
totally.
Check. How about
That
you,
was,
BJ? What do you think? I know you've pulled Wayne, so are you willing to give me advice, or is that your boy?
I mean, we are training partners, and whenever I first started, I used to drive him around the United States just to come in second. So the best advice I can give you without trying to, go against my buddy, because I'll probably end up being his corner man, is don't go to the straps. I mean, it feels to me, I've been pulling with him for so long. I feel like I have a chance out of the straps. The second we go to the strap, like you talk, his levers, I'm 6'5" and I've got a big hand. But
Yeah.
Wayne's hand is just stupid. It's so stupid. And he's so good with whatever he does in the strap. And I've never got him to tell me. He won't tell me.
Yeah.
So
Well,
whatever
I'm
he's doing is something.
Yeah. I'm no slouch in the strap. I could stop Derek in the strap, I mean, depending on the day. So
Yeah, you're so strong. You got so much power. I think if you stop the match is yours. That's my honest opinion. No bias at all. I would just do everything I can to not go to the strap. And
Right.
Wayne is so he's the type, right when they say go, it's open hand getting out of there. That's how he pulls me every time, because he knows if he gets to the strap, he's going to probably beat. So
right.
that would be my best advice for you. And if you feel confident in the strap, dude, get there. But he's just so freaking long, man. He's so long.
Well, to go with what you're saying, my plan is to stay out of the strap as much as possible. So,
yeah.
But I do well in a strap, especially guys my size. But, what are you gonna do?
I'll tell you one other thing that I hate about him, and he's probably gonna hate that I'm telling you this. But when you're lining up with him, and just say y'all are in a ref's grip, make sure he's not doing this little thing where he's kind of backing the whole time, because he'll back, and they'll close your fingers. Next thing you know, he's already rolling you.
And it works.
Be on top of that.
That works so well for him too. And again, like you said, BJ, I don't want to I consider Wayne a friend too, so I don't want to say too much. But there was an event that I was helping ref, and it was multi-weight classes, and so getting Wayne lined up with guys that are in the 5 feet range, and finding the center of the table without literally having his elbow off the back of his pad and still having a fair grip with the webbing matched was almost impossible. So if I'm going to say one friend betrayal thing, it's try to bait him, to make the ref have to bring him down. And that would be a tactic I would use personally.
Yeah, very good advice.
Wow, I had no
I'm
idea
writing this down.
I had no idea you were his training partner, bro. I'm sorry for your game plan and all, bro. I'm sorry. I had no idea, man.
No, Wayne lives about an hour north of me. And, we pull a little bit less nowadays, but whenever, we were both getting started, it was almost every other weekend we were somewhere. But yeah, he's right up the road from me. I live in the same city as Dusty Hyatt, and Wayne's an hour north of me.
Let me ask you, BJ, have you ever gripped up with Derek Smith?
Oh yeah. I've not being cocky, I hadn't pulled him in a long time. He's a whole nother beast now. But I've only lost to him once left-handed, and I've never lost to him right-handed. I went out to California, Hollywood, and we pulled at that WAL event, and I beat him out there 4 or 5 years ago.
And
I'll definitely say Derek's come a long way. So I'd be interested to see you guys go now.
Yeah, I trust me. I'm not saying I could beat him today. That was a long time ago.
But I got to ask this, BJ. What's your opinion from when you pulled Derek then? Who would win between Wayne and Derek?
Back then?
Yeah.
Back then, I would have said Wayne, because like I said, I beat Derek, and Wayne's I've gotten some state championships over Wayne in the past. But that was, 5-6 years ago. It's been a little while since I've beaten him like that. But today, I would like to see it again today because, like I said, Derek's put on so much mass, and not even that, he's gained so much knowledge too. So I think it would be a really good match, and it would come down to who took whose hand, I believe.
Yeah, Derek is a very smart arm wrestler as well, man. I've been watching him coaching everybody, and I'm definitely a fan of his coaching and all. I see how he's training his team. Really talented arm wrestler. Got a couple of super chats I got to catch up on. We got the Metal 365 in the house with a $5 super chat. He goes, Metal be upon ye this hour. Let's get the buzz. Thank you, Metal, and look forward to seeing you over at Knuckles Up.
Right on.
Oh, yeah.
Then we got another one. Let's see, from the 98% $10 super chat. He goes,
Heyo.
There's Danielle at Knuckles Up. Let's go. 98. Thank you for that. 98 for sure. And they'll all be at the Knuckles Up event as well. I know the whole crew's coming out for this one. So Matt, I want to hear from you, brother. I want to first want to get your thoughts on all these matches coming up at the Knuckles Up 3 event. And I want to get your thoughts on who do you think is going to take it between Mangas and BJ, because I think you have some knowledge with Mangas and all. So let me hear what your thoughts are.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, both huge guys, huge, powerful, strong guys, and I think it's all going to be about who gets their position first. And gets their weight behind their arm. I think they're both going to go inside. I think it's going to be very, very much about who gets that position first, because if Tacus gets there and he gets an inch this way, it's going to be bloody hard to get out of that spot. I think the exact same thing if BJ does the same to him. So it's all going to be about that first inch of movement and on that go. So your setup's going to be absolutely lightning quick. That match with Tim Bresnan, I know Tim said he had some slight injuries going in, which, maybe it affected the way that he was able to pull. It was such a crazy match because, they both sort of sat in a position. They looked like they were very comfortable there, and they sat there for 30 seconds. Tim sort of extended out like this, and Mangas in like this. And I said to Mangas afterwards, I was like, it looked like you were so comfortable in those spots. He goes, I was faking it. He goes, I was this close. I was 1 second away from quitting. And so even though he managed to keep a straight face, maybe that's a key, that if he's looking relaxed and comfortable, he may be actually feeling it a lot more than what you think. But it's going to be an exciting match, man. And if you can derail his sort of momentum with a win, I think, you'd be the guy that they're like, wow, we should give this guy a platform and give him a big shot.
Thank you. I'm going to try to do my best. That's the best I can do. I'm healthy. I feel strong. That bad boy right there is about as ready as it's going to be. So it's all downhill until we get there, and I'm looking forward to it. I appreciate everything you guys have done for us, for sure.
When you feel good too, that does so much. I think it helps your performance too, just because your mentality gets so much more confident. When you just feel ready to unload, like whatever mountain you got to climb, and when you at least just feel healthy, you're just like, all right, we got this. It's a great feeling.
Right.
Speaking of mountains to climb, I want to talk about your match, Danielle, because big one, and it's against Nadia. And I know a lot of people don't know Nadia, but I know Nadia, and I know that she is a very.
Oh, it's my
Say it again.
Oh, two random guys have joined the chat.
Oh, okay.
Oh shit! Wait, I'm fucking Chris up again. It's blurry. How do I get rid of that?
No, you're good. I think it's because there's only like one person is like the main focus.
What's up, guys?
What's up, everybody?
I
gotta fix the
crew in
focus
the house. These are the guys putting together Knuckles Up 3. What's up, Will? How are you?
Doing fantastic. Here we go. There we go. Okay.
We got everybody in the house. Christopher's in the
Just
house.
two random guys doing a bunch of- We're on the computer. We're doing shirts right now.
Sweet.
Shirts and banners and all the good stuff. Man, we had to hop on because you guys are just brutal on Wayne Withers. Holy
no, it's terrible. He doesn't deserve it either. It's honestly just because he's so tall.
Dare you? How dare you, BJ?
You know, the information I gave, everybody knows that. Yeah, I wasn't giving away too much. Everybody knows that about Wayne.
Yeah. They think this Californian has no chance, so they're feeding me some info.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
As we heard earlier, those people out west are a little funny,
Wayne's not afraid of a soy boy.
Oh, I can't wait to meet you, Dan. I'll show you some songs.
Oh, it's fantastic. Well, we hope you guys are doing well. Paul, obviously, of course, thank you so much for putting this together. We are super, super, super excited. Chris and I are putting in 12, 13, 14, 15-hour days right now, just getting everything ready. I will show you something kind of sneak peek. Hold on.
Uh-oh.
I'm going to show them the corner.
Can't wait.
All I'll show you is something with some interesting.
Hey.
That's it. That's all I'm showing.
Oh,
We got some really cool stuff going on, and we're just super excited to see you guys next week. Yeah, it's going to be absolutely awesome. But yes, Wayne, I wish he was on here. He can't even defend himself.
We're gonna have to
Wayne's probably dealing with the same
before-
problem I am
before
with
the
this
show,
Mississippi
before the
internet.
match.
Yeah. Well, those Mississippi guys have a small vocabulary, so it would have been tough.
Oh, shots fired. Here we go. Wayne, if you're in the chat, man, let me know, bro. We'll send you over the link. Get you on here right away, bro. You can defend yourself.
Oh my god!
I'm going to hear this
No, but-
tomorrow.
So I want to get back
Yeah.
to Danielle because I want to hear about Danielle's big match against Nadia, because I know a lot of people don't know this Nadia, but Nadia is no joke, man. I think Nadia is from Ukraine originally. I think she lives in the States.
Yep.
I met her over in Florida a couple years back at the Olympia, and she's a killer. She's a arm wrestling table assassin. So a lot of people don't know her, but they definitely should look into this lady. She's really high caliber. So Danielle, what's your thoughts on Nadia? Because I know you got your hands full.
Yeah.
She's got experience on her side. I would say
Absolutely.
you got on your side. So what's your thoughts on? Are you the favorite or are you the underdog in your eyes?
So I'll say personally, I'm extremely confident. Not in any way that I've been underestimating her, though. Make no mistake about that. I'm going to treat her as seriously as I've ever treated any match. Probably the most seriously of any match I've ever had. However, I feel really strong. I have a game plan. And I believe that when it comes to doing something like this, doubt doesn't serve you in any form. It doesn't help you. So go in it to win it, you know? However, I had to do a little bit of research myself, and it is, you know, intimidating to discover, you know, someone's got more than 20 years of experience. You know, that's wild. And I see that she's extremely fast. She looks comfortable inside pulling. She looks comfortable strap pulling. She looks really uncomfortable to get a grip with. So those are all really exciting for me. I'm honestly looking forward to it. So what I know I have to do is sometimes I can be a little friendly, but I'm going to have to bring my asshole to the table and in the setup. Yeah. So I'm going to have to fight. I'm going to have to fight in the setup. Yeah. I'm going to have to fight for my setup and not give anything. So
that's going to be figuratively speaking.
Yes, figuratively. Yeah, I don't think that's the pay-per-view that Knuckles Up was trying to go for here.
That's gonna be clipped for sure.
Oh, you know, that's where we can say all PR is good PR. You know.
Yeah.
More clicks.
Pay-per-views just went through the roof.
Yeah. Meme it up.
Danielle, what is your biggest match to date before this?
It was probably one I actually lost, but I loved the match. And that was at the Monster Factory 2 years ago. I had a match with Levan. And we went 9 rounds of best of 5. Like, it was a battle that we had. And so that was probably one of the most fun arm wrestling matches I've ever had, because even though I lost, that was one of those you walk away from and it was like, damn, like we pulled good, you know, and that was awesome.
What was the final score on that?
It was 2-3, Levan.
Wow, that I
Yeah.
gotta say that is very impressive, Danielle, because I know you're only a couple years in the sport, and Leah Aaron is a world champion. She is like top girl of North America. She goes to Zlati, she goes all over the world, and just she really wins everywhere. So for you to
Yeah.
be
And
in,
she brings her asshole to every table.
yeah,
Yep, every single one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that says a lot about the level that you're at. So this is going to be a banger that day. I cannot wait to see this one. It's 20 years experience against somebody that is just so freakishly strong in our sport, so can't wait. Wish you the best of luck. I got to ask you guys, Will and Chris, what was your thoughts when you made this match with the ladies?
Oh, it was pretty simple. So Nadia, we've actually known her for a while. She comes by practice every once in a while. She doesn't look too far, but previous WAL hammer holder. And we had a couple of discussions with her, and she was, wanting to, get back on the table again in a higher, competitive level. And we knew Danielle is really, coming up in the sport. We just thought it was a really nice matchup, especially because Nadia's had enough time away from the table where I would say there was a level of like detraining, I guess you could say. So I think it brought their levels right to where they needed to be.
Will, how long has she been off the table for?
Competitively,
WAL,
like competing wise,
She goes to local tournaments. Like she pretty much dominates in anywhere like locally in her weight class. But I mean, to Danielle's credit, like when we met her, she was, placing third at Arnold's, and the only people that beat her were super heavyweights, right? So we already saw that her level of competitiveness she's going to be top in the country, which she eventually, obviously became. But yes, I think for Nadia, she hasn't gotten the opportunity to pull anyone like super, like, because even when she pulled Elizabeth, right, Mashik, she was in her coming up, so it wasn't even when she had like gotten to where she is now, being top 154, or yeah, 154 pounds. So
Can you catch me up? Who won that match between Elizabeth and Nadia?
Nadia, from my understanding, has a winning record. I could be wrong.
Wow.
And then usually they meet up in like Winter Blast. They're like Keystone in our area.
That's crazy because Liz is unreal. Liz,
Yeah, she's on a tear right now for sure.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, this is back when I think Liz was still losing to like Michelle Dugan, which she hasn't done in a while either. So I think it's also a different Liz. So I don't want to say that that's where you can't compare the Liz of now to Nadia that was beating her before. But I think also
I gotta say about Liz, guys, is Liz is just like Danielle. Liz came into this sport dominating. She was like I was at her second practice in Texas. Me and Jerry Cataract were over there, and that was the first time I met her, and she was beating everybody there, like the top women of Texas, and we were all in awe, like, who is this? Like, oh my God, I can't believe like she's doing what she's doing. And when Danielle came into the sport, I kind of was thinking the same thing. It was like she was just going around just smashing everybody and making it look so easy and all. So knowing that Nadia has the win on Liz, I mean, people, Nadia is a killer, man. This is we are in for some fireworks with the ladies here, man. I really excited about this. Matt, hearing all this about these ladies, Nadia, 20 years experience, Danielle, just, a phenom from the beginning, big power lifter background. What's your thoughts on this, man?
It's always hard to go against the Europeans with their incredibly fast style. Shortest way to the pad is their motto, and it's just they drill that movement over and over and over, and it's just bang, bang, bang. You see them run through tournaments, just flying through people. It's so difficult to derail them from getting the position that they need, and it's all about the setup. You can be so much stronger than somebody else, and they just blast through you with speed. But if you're able to recognize where their lane is going to be, how you can get your positioning, so when they do hit, because it's bloody hard to be faster than them, but if they hit into a position where they push you into what you want, and then you can roll through with your power, I think that's the key to winning this match. I wouldn't try to match the speed. I think it's just going to be about recognizing, okay, there's going to be a speed advantage. I need to work with that. I need to derail that, make it go into my direction, use her strength against her, like use her momentum. Maybe when I go against people like that, I'll sort of allow them to get that first 2 inches, but it gives me a full cup in my wrist. and I can really throw back with everything I need from that position.
Yes.
But yeah, it's a question of being able to get the right setup and being able to stop that lightning fast hit.
I want to ask BJ, man, because you got so many years in the sport and all. Is there any tips that you could offer Danielle for going against Nadia, who's got 20 years experience?
Well, one thing Matt was just mentioning about getting his hands set to a good position. I don't want to give out any names, but somebody early in my
Withers.
career. Can you still hear me?
He said Wayne Withers.
Wayne Withers.
Oh, Wayne Withers. No, it wasn't Wayne. It was actually somebody a little older in the sport than Wayne. But they talked about setting up to the left, to the winning side of the pad for a right hand. And whenever they say go, especially with somebody fast like she is, taking her hand and going this way just for position, not getting way outside your arm, but just, hitting for position, not necessarily hitting for a win. And a lot of people they're expecting resistance right off the go, and then all of a sudden they're not feeling resistance until you're in a great position. That's something, I'm not telling you how to pull, but that's something, I might would keep in the back of my mind to beat her to where she's trying to get to. If she's, that fast, that's something, I would just keep in the back of my mind. That's a trick I use every once in a while.
Well, I appreciate that, BJ, because it has been absolutely something in my mind, and I've been working on in practice a bit, because I'm not the fastest right off the go, but if I can get someone here, like, I can drag pretty much any of my opponents. If I get this position with my hand and I could be halfway to the pad, I'm dragging this back if I have my hand. Like, right. You have to be, and if I don't, then you're just really freaking strong. Tip of the hat to you. But like, that is my sweet spot. If I'm like here and someone's like, oh wow, they almost beat you on the go, it's like, actually, I'm very happy. Boom. But that is the trick. Yeah. So you're right. I appreciate that, because that's been something that's I've been cooking in my mind too, as definitely if I try something and it doesn't work, I'm gonna go there.
There you go.
That's what Bob Brown calls the reverse hit. That's what he
said.
Yes,
the reverse hit, hitting to position. Yep.
Well, it's so horrible when it happens to you, because you think, oh, I've got everything, I'm going, it's all going my way, and then your hand just disappears. Like, ah.
Yeah.
So, Will, I want to bring up to you now, bro. What other matches are there that are standing out to you that you want us to talk about right now?
So I think one of the ones I'm actually most excited about, just because, well, if you guys don't know, there is a very interesting cultural kind of like feud that goes on between South Korea and Japan. Obviously, there's levels of respect that they obviously, these athletes always keep, but we found it very funny that Toshiyuki and Ji-Hyun are on the same flight coming over, and they're already starting some banter between the two of them. But I'm really excited about that match. Just one, because it was really cool to see Baek Sung-yul come over and represent Korean arm wrestling, but now to have someone from Japan and Korea bringing over that Asian culture is really important to us. It's another way that we're expanding the world of arm wrestling. There's great pullers all over the globe, but it seems like we're usually focused on like the Europe, US, that was funny. Europe, US, and just a few little specific places. So that one is one I'm really excited about. Also, being a super heavyweight myself, I just want to get on the table with them and see what level that they have achieved. And then other than that match, I'm not gonna lie, the one I'm most excited about has to be Jason Merlo, Mario Tambakis, because did you see that video we just posted on our story of his last training session? What the fuck was that? He was, wow! Look, Merlo's my boy. He's got a hand that is absolutely incredible. But wow, I think that is gonna be
spicy.
Yeah, spicy is the right word. That asshole of yours is gonna be burnt.
yeah.
Yeah, that one's gonna be killer. Super, super excited about those. Those two are probably the ones that I don't know what's gonna happen, But like I said, because we're bringing over, more Asian arm wrestling, and the fact that I think Mario and Jason, like, I'm just really curious to see where the two of them are at. But all the matches, I mean, I just want everybody, number one, nobody get injured, and two, just have a great night of arm wrestling.
Another one that I want to make mention of that I'm really excited about, and now I understand what you're doing with the Asian arm wrestling community and all. And one that went on my radar from the last Knuckles Up 2 was Bok Sang Yul, and he went against Ryan Bowen. Yeah, Ryan went away with the win that day, but this was a war, man. And Bok Sang Yul showed us that man could pull in some crazy positions and is just so insane strong.
Mm-hmm.
Side pressure is just next level. I just remember Bowen's reaction after the match and all. So that guy went on my radar. And now to know that you got him pulling Tom Holland, oh man, this one, I'm telling you guys, this one is going to be like for real fireworks in this one. I don't know which way it's going to go, but I'm just excited about it because watching both of these guys in action is just so exciting. And then, like you just said, that one that is Jason Merlo is like, in my eyes, he's the poster boy for Knuckles Up. He's been at every Knuckles Up. He's won at every single one. And now you got him going against like one of the kings of Australia. And that's your guy, Mario Tambakis, man. So I want to hear you weigh in because I know Mario's part of your crew out there and all. I don't know if you know much about Jason other than his other Knuckles Up wins and all, but how do you think that's going to turn out?
Oh, I'm very excited to see it. I think when we were talking about it a couple of weeks ago when we had Jason on the podcast, we were sort of likening it to Jason's technical ability and Mario's power, I think will be the story of the match. And I think Mario is incredibly strong. And when he gets in the lanes he needs to get to, it's like good luck stopping him. But if anyone can do it, it's Jason Merlo. I mean, that guy has such an amazing record. You know, he's a North American champion in his weight class. He's got years of experience. He's very, very sneaky and very clever at what he does on the table. Those are the elements that he needs to really employ if he's going to beat somebody really powerful like Mario. Mario is a very good puller as well. Like he knows what he's doing. He does spend a lot of time training just setup, which is kind of interesting. Him and his training partner Lachlan Carpenter in the Sydney Spartans Club will do 2 minutes of just holding a position in setup just to be able to not get moved out of that. Just as they're sort of practicing, so they are so ready in all areas. But it'll be a crazy match because Mario is coming down from I always got to do the conversion from pounds to kilos, but it was like 112 kilos down to 105 at the moment. He needs to be 97.5. So it's like, I think total is 215 pounds that he's going to be at eventually. Right now, he's probably at like 225, 230, something like that. So
he's cutting 10, 15 pounds down before this match.
Yeah, he's going to be there about 2 days before the match, and he plans on losing 4 kilos, which is what, seven pounds in water weight or something. So yeah, he should be fine in terms of the weight. I know he's very dedicated. So yeah, it shouldn't be too much of a factor. And I think as soon as that weigh-in part of it is done for him, he can relax. He can actually then focus on the match. But right now he's kind of like all in on the weight.
Yeah, speaking of the weigh-in, so everyone here, I'm typically kind of a bubbly, friendly person. But until about, like 3 o'clock on Friday or whatever, I might be a little grumpy. Until I get some water and carbs back in me. just forewarning.
So is Danielle going to be able to eat before the press conference, or are we going to have a free Danielle on our hands at the press conference?
I'm going to be hungry and thirsty.
I'll make sure we have usually we have some snacks ready waiting for you guys in case you get it, so don't worry. You guys
be hangry though, man. We want to see some fireworks at the press conference.
maybe we'll push the weigh-ins a couple hours later just in case.
Oh, thank you. I don't know if I can be that'll be the closest I get to as stoic as a Ukrainian is being that hungry. So
Danielle, who after hearing this about Mario Tambakis, who do you have winning between Jason Merlo and Mario Tambakis that day?
So I know Jason's pulling much more. So I'm going to go with the record that I'm more familiar with because Jason Feinwein Merlot is just a killer. Now, I could certainly be wrong by that. And if I am wrong, I'm not going to be upset. I'll be impressed, Yeah.
And Matt, I'm gonna put you on the spot, man. Who's getting a win that day?
Ooh.
Well, I mean, obviously, I want to see Mario win. Can he do it? I don't know. I think it's almost a 50-50 match. It's power versus technical ability, and it's like which one comes out on the day. It's if you said here's $100, who do you want to bet on? I'd be like, put $50 on both. I don't know.
BJ
Mario's losing a lot of weight though. That's a big cut.
and traveling long distance too.
He is, but the weight that he's losing is probably weight he could have lost anyway.
BJ, what's your thoughts on this match, man? Who do you have winning?
Well, I got a couple of years back. I got to pull with Mario up in Washington. They come down.
Yeah, we were all together. I forgot about that. Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I got to actually feel what and then I'm sure he's progressed some since then. But I've never got to feel Merlot. But if I had to guess, with Merlot being a 3-time, at the event, and the lack of travel for Merlot, I would have to go with Merlot if I had to make a pick.
Okay. Mike, I want to ask you the same question, brother.
Well, I have arm wrestled Mario, but I was injured. My elbow was torn, so I couldn't do anything with him. So it was hard for me to gauge his power and strength. But he is strong, but he's doing a big weight cut, and that's my biggest concern because I think he's going to lose some of that connectivity. I think the weight cut's too much, and then Merlot, he's just sitting pretty, right? And he's an American, so I'm going with Merlot.
There you go.
Yeah, I think that's going to play a big factor, man, because Mario's got a very long trip on his hand, and hearing that he's got to cut so much water, I know it's doable, but will he be able to keep all that power on is the question. So definitely interested to see how that turns out that day for sure. I also want
those Australians always surprise me with their hand and wrist control.
Mario's got a serious hand as well for sure.
Yeah,
does.
So there's another match that is announced, and that's Roger Learned going against Uncle John. And Uncle John's part of the Arm Wrestling Buzz crew. He couldn't be here tonight, but I want to find out from Danielle, what's your thoughts on that? How do you think that turns out? Who gets the win?
I'm really looking forward to that match. So I know how Roger pulls, and I know Uncle John. I give it a slight lean to Uncle John, and that's only because he has put on so much mass recently. He is looking like his strongest, most massive self. So if we're talking about Uncle John maybe a year and a half ago, I might have leaned a little more Roger, but right now I'm gonna go with John.
BJ, your thoughts?
Kind of the same thing. He wasn't he at our event up in Oklahoma? Wasn't he there?
Oh, yes, he was. Uncle John was there. Yeah.
That was the first time I got a chance to meet him, and I saw the video here recently of him, and he's put on a lot of size. So I might would lean with the size on this one.
Okay, and the other thing that a lot of people sleep on with Uncle John is they don't realize how long he's been pulling for. He's been pulling for quite a long time, and now with him massing up, man, he's no joke on the table. But we also know Roger. Roger is no slouch. Rogers, when he first came into the sport, he was taking super match after super match. He was like kind of like Tim Lewis. Every month he was somewhere else with a big super match and all. So he's got tons of experience in the short time he's been in the sport. So this one is going to be a really good one. I want to hear from you guys. Will, what was your thoughts of this match when you made this?
Well, it was actually pretty simple. When we first started talking about the card, with the first Knuckles Up, we had a certain set number of matches. And then on the second one, we had the same exactly, right? Or we added one extra.
I think actually one less.
One less, right? We had one less on Knuckles Up 2. And our production guy Joe was like, do you think we could add a couple more matches? And we're discussing it, and it's like, well, we don't want to just add a match for the sake of adding a match. And then I don't remember if it was Uncle John that reached out or if it was Roger.
It was Roger. So actually, like the beauty of the sport, right, is that we're kind of catching like wildfire, and a lot of people are hearing about our event.
Exactly.
From all over the world, we're getting people asking to be a part of the card, and really, it's just becoming a scheduling kind of thing, or what works best for everybody, what matchups would be best. And Roger had reached out initially saying, "Hey, I'd love to be part of it. I'm in the area, and I love what you guys are doing." Same thing when it came to like Uncle John, being friends with like Aussie kind of helped, and hearing great things about him, and seeing the whole tack match, and his video was one of the what do you call it? What I use for training for like ready goes. He like recorded a bunch of ready goes, and I just used that to kind of get ready for tournaments. So we obviously knew of both of them. So yeah, it was kind of a no brainer once we had the opportunity. We're like, what, these are two people we want to have on.
Yeah, it was like we said from the beginning. It's our goal has been like arm wrestling for the people by the people. So when people reach out to us, we actually read the messages and like consider the matches. Right now, we can't say that we can guarantee everybody a match, but if we think it's something that the community would want to see and that would be a good match, like that's what it comes down to at the end of the day. Like even if you've only been in the arm wrestling world for 2 years, but you're like putting on killer matches, and we think we can find the right matchup that will be entertaining for like all the fans across the world, we're probably going to put the match up, right?
I'm laughing right now, Will, because you don't know what you just did, bro. You're gonna have everybody in this world mailing you now and messaging you. They're ready with their matches they want.
In all seriousness, they already are. Yeah, like we get people like, hey, it's so cool that we're like, hey, this is my son, this is my cousin, this is my grandson. Like, check this guy out, and like we'll watch the videos, and like we've gotten to learn a lot more about people.
Yeah, it's cool because it also expands what a card could really be made of. I think we have this kind of preconceived it has to be the best of every weight class of every country, and yes, that's definitely what we want to put together. But we're getting people that are like been disabled. Like, hey, are you open to have like a disabled card? Like burn victims that are getting into it. You have people that are like teenagers. Trying to look into like a younger crowd. Like obviously we have females on the card, but like also teen females. That's like another thing that we'd be interested in doing as well. So
and not to mention, even like we actually potentially had a young women's match of girls that were what, 12, 10?
No, she's 13 and 14.
Oh, so teenage, you're right. Yeah. But yeah, we almost had Camille's daughter and RVJ's daughter. We just couldn't like figure out scheduling wise. So yeah, like I think that's one thing that we're always excited about is we don't know what our future promotions hold, in the sense of like September 14th, Knuckles Up 4, right? That card is almost set in stone, and some of the matches, some of the results of the matches from this card will result in the finalization of the next one. But Knuckles Up 5, like we only have a couple of ideas of who we really want to be there. And like the sky's the limit, right? Like if all you guys over in Europe and across the US and in Asia now and India and the Philippines, everywhere, like if you guys are interested, like hit us up. Like we want to keep putting on these awesome matches.
And do you guys plan on do you guys eventually plan on like having a Knuckles Up championship card, like somehow ranking the guys that keep coming on and working towards like this is your championship card and stuff like that? Or are you gonna keep it fairly random?
I mean,
do we tell them already?
So like here
how many fingers am I holding up?
Yeah. So yeah.
Because we're the high five. And we have, no, I'm just kidding. We're gonna have, but we are planning on. Sorry, that was super fucking cheesy. But, two things we are. Oh, that was just my. Wait, oh, cool. Two things we are working on is we are working on a tournament series that will be going on across the United States to start, and with that would be resulting in the winner of said series would claim a spot, obviously, on a Knuckles Up event. But let me be very clear: we don't ever want to claim that our champion is the best arm wrestler in the world, right? We leave that to the community to decide, right? But we do want to have like the high five, like the top 5 of like the 5 weight classes, right? And that those are our like of the 5 champions per se.
That,
right?
the high 5. That sounds great.
right?
I like
so
it,
like,
cheesy or not. Like I think that sounds great.
right?
Like,
So
perfect.
you
Yeah.
want to like, and then within those 5, maybe we do like a round robin and see who's like the best. I mean, it would be tough if you have a super versus like a 176 or 154, but we're still toying with the ideas. But we don't ever want to say like, yeah, this guy is the world champion, right? Because it's always tough. Like not all athletes can face against each other, and not all weight classes are different. There's just so many variables. But like, yeah, we definitely want to have like an internal, I don't want to say ranking system, but like slots, I guess you could say, right? I don't know if you want to expand in.
No, I mean, so like, I think to that point, right, we're also trying to like, it's only our 3rd one. And the fact that you guys, I mean, you know, a lot of BJ on this call, right? You guys gave us the opportunity when we literally were nobodies. So we want to also kind of give back to those athletes and try to give them, I mean, think about it. You're pulling Mangas, who we were eventually possibly was even going to pull Dave Chafee. So in terms of our matchups and what we consider like our champions is kind of like who we consider like joined our family of Knuckles Up. And eventually out of those alumni, we see, all right, who is the best of the best, and we kind of rank and stack them from there. Yeah, because I think as we grow as an organization, we really want to be for the people, by the people, and kind of see like, what do you guys want to see? You know, and then that's where you'll kind of tell like, obviously everyone wants to see Levan and Devin pull because they're the best, and you didn't really have to put them in WAF or IFA or whatever organization to consider them the best in the world. You just knew, undisputed, these guys will beat you no matter where they go. We kind of want to establish something like that as well, where it's like, oh no, I wanted to see BJ and Mangas pull because that is a great matchup that I think anyone will want to see, regardless of where they ranked 10 or 5.
Yep.
I think that's something that Knuckles Up and the High Five has going for it that really speaks to its potential for future growth, is that I have never heard one public social media negative comment about Knuckles Up, about from any athletes. I know I'm saying it like this is what I'm knocking, but like especially in a time right now where there's so much this, that, and the other thing going on, like it's nice to just have positive arm wrestling, good athletes, and a great experience, and that's what you guys are delivering, and that's really cool.
Ryan Bowen said that he had an absolutely fantastic time with Knuckles Up and best experience he's had with the promotion.
Well,
and that's I can say
I know it's just a small stone's throw away,
halfway around the world.
you know, but just get your buddy on
No, I mean, we really do appreciate it because like that's kind of one thing that we aren't afraid to say, that it really is because of the community. I think that's why we've, I don't want to say avoided the negativity, but a lot of it is kind of, we just kind of tell the community exactly as it is. We try to be as transparent as possible.
Yeah.
You know, without them, we couldn't really get to where we are today. And think about it, we're only on 3, right? So it's not like we made it very far. So we still need a lot of the community support to continue to grow.
Absolutely.
You know, and I think that's why we tried our best to not bring in the noise that we kind of see on a day-to-day, because it's well, we really don't have the time, like for what it's worth, like we try to keep up with everything so that we're cognizant of what's going on, but we're so focused on trying to give back to the athletes and give back to community. There's no time really for the negativity.
And on a serious note, like this is just because a couple times we've had like this rumor that like, yeah, they must just have a lot of money. I work a 9 to 5. He works a 9 to 5.
We're not sitting in a
He's married. I have a fiance. I don't got no money.
It's really a team effort.
Yeah.
I think that's the other thing. A lot of people are curious of like, what's the secret sauce? And I think,
hard work.
So the secret sauce is a lot of work, and I think like that kind of authenticity, though, people can tell. Like they might not know if you had money or not, but they know what the product coming out of here is authentic, and that's why it shows.
Yeah. Hey, you're gonna be experiencing it firsthand, less than 10 days away.
By the way, this was not on purpose, but I keep this here.
Oh, cool!
That wasn't on purpose. It lives here. This is where it lives.
What is it?
It's So it's a CBD topical cream with like some like menthol and other good stuff in it for when your elbow hurts. It's just a roll on, nice little anti-inflammatory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And speaking of,
go ahead. My bad. Sorry. Go ahead. I'll shut up.
I was just gonna say, you brought up money, and people think you have money. I would just strongly give my opinion that when you guys start making money, don't be ashamed of it. I hate when people like pretend, or like the community is mad at you for making money. I'm like, they're working their butts off. They've earned every penny. I want you guys to become millionaires off this if you can. You know what I mean?
I always laugh when people are like, yeah, man, you're here for the money. Like, yeah, bro, they're the promoters. They should be.
Yeah.
And we're successful in arm
We
wrestling.
all want to do what we love and get paid to do it. Like, give me a break.
If the organizations aren't making money, then the athletes can't make money. So this is all a positive thing, and we need to make money for sure.
Right.
Yeah. And
hold on, guys. I just got to catch up because I've been sleeping on these super chats.
Go for it, my bad.
We got Cold Stone 499. He says, any word on Austin Jagger's case? I'm assuming he's guilty. Cold Stone, I wouldn't assume anything. Let's wait. Let's give him his time. He's going through a trial and all, and I'm sure he'll keep everybody up to date. But I wouldn't
due process, man. Exactly. Innocent until proven guilty. Come on.
Yeah, man. Let's give him his time. And guys, we got 110 people in the chat. Let's click that like button, the thumbs up. Help me out here. We'll get the algorithm going. And also, I just before we call it night with the knuckles up, because I gotta get everybody off here because we got another topic that we got to touch on before the end of the show. But I want to get from knuckles up. I want you guys just to run down the press conference where people could see that, what time it's going on, and also the day of the event, Saturday, May 11th, what time that all begins. So
okay. Go ahead. Well,
so in regards to the press conference, we're going to be having that at the Friday the night before at 5 p.m. Eastern. That's going to be on our YouTube. Just stream free. You guys can kind of tune in. We'll have Ozzy as our host with Big Man Will over here kind of running through the card. And then after that, the day of the event on Saturday, that's going to be kicking off at 5 p.m. sharp. We're trying to implement some cool stuff leading up to the actual kickoff. So you guys have some cool stuff to watch leading up to that as well. That'll be on our YouTube for free to watch. And then I'll kind of lead you into the pay-per-view.
Also, please tell us about this amazing new upgraded venue that we got.
Oh, yeah. I mean, even where, like again, like when you guys are talking about us making money and everything, but like if we don't make money, you guys don't make money. That kind of extends into the production value and what we can offer. We obviously love to take care of the athletes. I mean, hopefully you guys will see for you being here for the first time what kind of improvements we've made to make you feel like an all-star, because you guys are the all-stars and what we all aspire to be in the sport. But yeah, you'll see the venue itself as well. It's seats 250 people. It's only been around, I want to say, for like a year. Yeah,
2 years or less.
Yeah, and it's like, I think they invested like $15 million into it.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, look it up yourselves. It's the Barrymore, like as in Drew Barrymore, the Barrymore Film Center in Fort Lee, New Jersey. So it's still in the same town. It's this beautiful, beautiful theater where they play, retro, old school films every weekend. Like on 4th, like May the 4th be with you, right? They're going to do a whole Star Wars thing. So if you're in the area, get some tickets. They're an absolutely incredible venue. But yeah, it is awesome, especially because Sandell Productions, our production team, will now be able to pull out even more stops that he never has been able to before. Because before we would retrofit a ballroom, and people didn't even realize we were in a ballroom when they would watch it. They're like, "Where is it?" Right now, we're in a place that is meant for putting on shows. So we're going to be able to do even crazier things. And yeah, I know, Paul, you'll be sitting front and center. I know, so you'll be able to experience it. But I just want to say that if you are watching, because I know, not just right now live, but people go back and watch this podcast. If you are in the tri-state area and you even think that you like arm wrestling, come experience this in person. It is unlike any. Honestly, it's unlike any sporting event you've ever been to. We are like a mix of the NFL, the NBA, WWE, arm wrestling, and all of that wrapped together with a bunch of fun in one. And it's we have a lot of cool surprises for the in-house and for the people at home that we haven't even done on the first two cards. So,
And one thing I want to say from being at the first two of them was every athlete that was there, they were all just blown away by the red carpet treatment that they got. And that I've never heard at any other organization, where the second you land, I mean, you're picked up at the airport, they roll out the red carpet, they wine and dine you, like, everything is just for you guys. Even so far that they bring in a barber for you, for the men, if they want to get a haircut before and all, they really put in the detail. And that's what I really love about them. They really put in and making the athlete feel special. And that's real important thing to do. And I really appreciate what you're doing with that. I just want to get everybody's place where people could get a hold of them. So Danielle, I want to start off with you. If people want to contact you, what is the best platform for them to do that?
I'm very responsive on both Facebook and Instagram. You can search me first name and last name. Instagram, I'll come up as Health Razor, but you can find me Danielle Evensen. We'll bring up my accounts. Either one of those. It's a great way to get a hold of me.
Perfect. Same thing for you, BJ. Where can people find you?
I've got an Instagram, but mostly Facebook. That's going to be, if you want to get any kind of touch with me, it's going to be through Facebook. And while I'm talking real quick, I want to say thanks to Will and Chris. Man, everything that y'all do is top level. I can't imagine y'all stepping up from last time, but I don't doubt y'all at all. But for a deep thanks to you guys, man. Y'all are doing something special.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Mega Mike, same question for you, brother. Where can people get a hold of you?
I'm on Instagram, Mega Mike Arm Wrestling 28.
Okay. And then Will and Chris, High Five Arm Wrestling Club. Where can people get a hold of you and send their next matchups and all for the next Knuckles Up?
You can find us on Instagram, the High Five AW. Same thing on Facebook. We have a group that keeps growing, which is awesome, and same thing with our YouTube, High Five AW.
Yep, exactly.
Well, thank you guys all for coming on. I'm going to see everybody May 11th. I wish all the athletes the best of luck. Can't wait to see you guys and get the party that weekend. Also, High Five Club, always thank you, man. I really appreciate what you're doing. It's great to see big organization doing big things in North America. Really supporting you guys. Anything I could do to help you guys. I already sponsor all your events and all, and I will be there in person. And definitely anybody else that's on the East Coast, make the trip, man. It's definitely worth it. Come experience in person. Thank you guys for coming on. I'm gonna have all the Knuckles Up people leave now, and then guys in the chat, stay here. We got something another issue that we got to handle. We got Israel Chavez just came in the room, Arm Wrestling Buzz Crew. What's up, Israel? And we also got Sarah Ray here from Texas that we're going to get into her little situation right now.
Hi, Sarah. Bye, Sarah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Danielle.
Thanks, everybody.
See you guys in a week.
See you.
Have a good one, Mega Mike.
Israel. What's up, big dog?
See you, man.
Always good to see you.
Oh, yeah, man.
So, guys, now I want to give a little lead up and everything, you know. So, I just want to give a little context of my friend Sarah Ray. You know, that's where she is on social media and everything. I've known Sarah about 3 years now. Me and Travis threw a lot of events in Texas. We worked with the TAL. And for a lot of you guys that don't know, Sarah Ray is one of the directors of the TAL. She's been there from the beginning. She's a big part of putting all these great events together in Texas for many years now. Texas Arm Wrestling League, for anybody that doesn't know, is one of the most successful leagues in North America. You know, there's a couple of leagues that are doing great things for the state, really stepping up arm wrestling, and TAL is one of them. And Sarah's been there from the beginning. Sarah's also been a good friend of mine. I've thrown a bunch of events. She's helped me many of times, has never asked for pay or anything, just a great person that wants to spread arm wrestling. And then the other thing that Sarah is very well known in the community for was Sarah is the one that kind of brought all the ladies together, and she made this amazing all ladies tournament, which that has never happened before in arm wrestling. And Sarah was the one that did that. And she threw a couple of very successful ones. So I'm giving all this background because there's been this incident in this last week with Sarah went over to Florida and pulled over there. I'm going to let her tell the story and all, but you know, there was a little fallout between her and Engin, and I think a lot of things were taken out of context, and she's getting a lot of messages and a lot of hate from people that don't realize who Sarah is to our community. Sarah's not just another person that's just a female puller, but Sarah is a very big part of the community as throwing events, making sure the TAL runs smoothly, and like I said, has made history by throwing the only all women's tournaments in the United States. So that is who Sarah is. And now I'm going to hand over the microphone to her so she can kind of update everybody. I want you to kind of just start from the beginning and let us know what happened. Just catch everybody up.
Okay, thank you for having me on, Paul. And I've been talking so much on podcasts that I work from the phone, so my voice is kind of going out. So I apologize. So again, I'm going to start out by saying I'm going to stick to the facts. I'm not bashing anybody. East versus West, it come up last year. I qualified at our TAL events. I went to the finals in West Virginia. I pulled both classes, 154 and 155 plus, and I won the 155 plus class. So I just want to make it clear that last year I was able to pull in both weight classes at the finals, not at the qualifiers. Won my trip to Dubai that way. So this go around, I had East versus West in my sights again. I wanted to be able to have that experience again. So I go to our TAL event. I qualify in both weight classes. Brackets are sent in. Everything's great. I get to the event, weigh in, pay my money, do early weigh-ins, no big deal. Day of the event, we get there, the event kicks off. Artem ends up pulling 2 weight classes at the finals. From my understanding, a phone call goes through, says you cannot do that. I knew about 5 minutes before, but this had been something that Engin and I had talked about. This was well aware that I was doing this. So I was like, hey, just, talk to Engin. I get called to the brackets to pull Gabby, and I'm immediately pulled off stage saying, no, you cannot pull 2 weight classes. I have a conversation with Engin. Did not go as smoothly as it should have, but ended up not being able to pull the 2 weight classes. I had to choose one.
Let me just get this straight. So the phone call was from Engin on the other side of the world, calling over to the promoters, telling them that they can't allow you to compete in the finals that you just made into the finals by beating everybody in the bracket. Is that correct?
Correct. So I had already qualified in Texas on both weight classes. So when I get to the finals in Florida, the phone call was made that I had to pick one weight class. Even though I qualified in both, when you get to finals, you're only supposed to compete in one weight class. Well, Texas holds East versus West qualifiers. We were unaware of the rule at that time. Nobody told us. Florida as well. So everybody was like, is it the promoter? Is it Engin? Engin made the call. The promoters were saying, hey, it's not me, it's Engin. We would let you pull. There's cash prizes there. We don't mind if you pull, but talk to Engin. He's the one making the call saying you cannot do that. His reasoning for it was we don't want to take opportunity away from other athletes getting, to East versus West. We want to bring as many people possible. A good point here, and I'm never going to take away anything from these amazing athletes. So I never want that to come across as a negative, but Gabby and Sarah were there. Amazing pullers. They have the right to pull wherever they want. But mind you, this is an East versus West qualifier to be able to get on the card. Gabby and Sarah both already have future cards in motion. They don't need to qualify, right? So they were there, to pull whatever the case may be. But if the reason behind this is give these athletes opportunity, the opportunity was already taken away. Gabby was in the left, Sarah was in the right. They opted not to pull each other. Engin didn't want them pulling each other. They agreed not to. So
Now, let me just get this, Sarah. Do they receive the cash prizes, Gabby and Sarah? Do they?
To my knowledge, yes.
Okay, so we're saying now that Engin's saying the reason why you can't pull because you don't want to take away from other pullers and you want to give them an opportunity. But we now have like the top 2 women on the planet practically in this event, and they're there, and practically it's just a payday for both of them. Well,
Correct.
that's kind of contradicting, your
I agree.
situation and all. Okay,
And
continue.
I stated, I said, I'm not beating those two athletes anyway. So why not just let me arm wrestle? You know, we don't have very many women in weight classes. You know, sometimes you don't have any women in the weight classes. So when I've got about 8, 9 women there, like that's big for women. I want to arm wrestle. And I'm known to go in and pull weight classes, 2 weight classes, sometimes, you know, the amateur men's class, just I want to arm wrestle. And I traveled all that way to do it. And wasn't able to. Apparently, that was a rule that Engin changed last minute. You know, I found out later that was a rule that everybody knew about, apparently, except Texas and Florida. How we all missed it, we've got amazing promoters. Those promoters that ran that event are great promoters, been doing this a very long time. Things come from the top down, and I believe that he failed to inform his staff correctly. So whatever the case may be, I didn't know that at that time. So naturally, I was upset and wasn't happy that, you know, I could not understand. And I still understand a little bit better now, but it still
And we
doesn't
want to
make
add
any
some context in there, guys, to remind you that she traveled, paid for a flight, hotel, everything. This is not in her state. It's one thing if it's in Texas and she's just driving there, but she actually traveled there. And, you know, I'm assuming that you were thinking you were going to at least cash prize in all the classes and was going to help you pay for the trip. Is that
Yeah, of course. I
okay?
mean, you know, you're not walking away when Gabby and Sarah are there. Some people tell me train harder, you know, just go back and train hard. Okay. You know, that's fine. These women beat half the men in our sport. You know, they're very elite level athletes that took years to get there. And okay, I get where you're coming from, but it's a qualifier to get on a card. If you already have a card, why do you need to qualify? So
So I want to hear now where did it go? Where what was the, you know, how was the ending of that day, and then like what projected from that?
I ended up waiting. I tried to reach out to Engin. Engin ignored me. You know, I did try to handle this matter privately. Engin ignored me, did not answer me. I expressed my concerns, and I ended up making a Facebook post and calling out Engin, which apparently everybody's like, well, you shouldn't have done that. You know, you're attacking East versus West. No, I'm not. There was a disagreement, and as a promoter myself, I would have rectified the situation. Now, the promoters tried to rectify the situation, but we didn't get down to the core issue because, mind you, the promoters said this is Engin's call. You called mid event. I think it's important for the context to know the event had already started. It wasn't like it was before the event. You pulled me off mid stage, and the whole entire people, somebody said on the live, oh, Sarah has a WAF ban. I'm not going to go down that road. But that's embarrassing on my part. Like, why I don't, you know, don't pull me off mid stage and then people think I have this ban. So at that point, it was like I wanted to clear the air on that.
There's one thing I want to say more, Sarah. Me being a promoter as well, you know, if this would have occurred at one of my events, and you know, we already allowed Artem to hold 2 classes, you know, I would not go and change it there. You already made the finals. We've already let another athlete pull 2 classes in the finals. I would say we made a mistake this one, and we're gonna have to finish this off the way it's going. You know, that's the way I would have handled it, you know. So okay, go on.
And we at TAL do the same thing. And I'll give you an example, and it'll be a short example. I made a mistake in not verifying the master's age of somebody at one of our events. You have to be 40, and the gentleman was turning 40 this year, but had not turned 40. I didn't clarify the age, and I allowed him to pull the master's class. Well, the next go around, it was brought to my attention that Sarah, that was not, you know, you wasn't supposed to do that. Like, you know, they have to be 40, right? You know, but I didn't, I own that. And we let him pull the next event because at that point, that was an error on my part. We had to own that. So now that's the rules we enforce now. Uh, I agree with you as a promoter myself and running the events. You own your mistakes. You are the face of your brand. You are the face of your league, whatever the case may be. You take full responsibility. I feel like the buck is being passed. It's your fault. No, it's your fault. No, it's your fault. Paul Lynn has ultimately now stood up and said it's my fault. I will say in context, Paul Lynn and I were not the one in conversation when all of this happened. he allowed allowed Artem to pull. He gave the go ahead that it was okay for him to pull both classes. I don't know who weighed in first. Was it me or was it Artem? Because I sent my notifications in 2 months prior stating that I was going to be pulling both classes. I made sure of that and they were aware. But
Sarah, I
ultimately,
want to move on. We got that. I want to move on though. I want to move on to what happened after when you made
sorry.
the Facebook post. I want to hear, how that was handled and where that went, because I think that's when everything kind of just went south and things started getting ugly. And then there started being a lot of posts coming from all over the place. And then you started getting threatening messages and all that. So catch us up on
So
all
I
that.
make the post, and the post was respectful. People take it how they want it. Ultimately, it questioned Engin's integrity, because that is integrity. So the Facebook post blows up. It gets shared. It blew up bigger than what I thought it was going to. And Engin had already blocked me at that point. I want to make that clear. Or no, excuse me. After that, Engin had blocked me to where I could not get in contact with him. He goes on and he makes a Facebook post about me where I can't respond, saying, I'm sorry, my student needs to beat you. I'm sorry. You asked for online coaching and I said no. I'm sorry that you asked for a business class ticket and I said no, which I never did. Just to clarify that, he paid for my ticket. I paid for my own tickets out of pocket. He reimbursed me for like a normal ticket, but I chose to upgrade my tickets to first class, and I let him, or not first class, excuse me, business class. And that's what I told him I did. I opted to spend my own money. But he took those words, he spun it out of context. I started receiving a lot of notifications, messages, for bashing him. A lot of people come out and started making videos about how great his integrity is all in the same day. Everybody chose to do that, and that's their experience. I had my experience. You stated yours. I stated mine. Let's move on. That's no big deal. This is the only way I was able to get answers was by making the Facebook post. So get that cleared away. I go on, Jody Williams' podcast. I go on Ryan Grondin's. Next thing you know, right before I go on Jody Williams' podcast, Pauline tags me in the results of the event. And you're a promoter, so you're going to understand this. And I look at them and I went, holy shit, I didn't get third place in the right hand. Leia out of Canada did. I call up Pauline immediately and I go, look, I'm about to go on this podcast. I don't want to throw more gasoline on the fire and make the promoters look bad. Like, I get this is a mistake. So let's rectify it. What do you want me to do? It was going to be handled. By the time I got off that podcast with goodness, I'm tired tonight. I'm sorry. With Jody, Engin had made a Facebook post that was saying that I stole money, that I stole that athlete's money, and I needed to give it back. Not even realizing that this had already been handled. So then I start getting threats about you're a thief, you're a liar, you're this. I have like 16 messages demanding me to give this money back, and I'm like, hold on, I've already handled this. He refused to take down that post. He, at that point, tells a third party, if she'll take down all of her posts, I'll take down mine. And I'm like, I'm not taking it down. You actually make yourself look more incompetent that you can't even hand out the correct awards and a women's that has 4 people in it. That's not my fault as a promoter.
Mind you guys, this is our Dana White of our sport. That's like Dana White hitting up somebody that's coming in a qualifications of a small MMA organization league that's got their big name titled on it, the UFC, and he's going after an athlete trying to get their name out there. And this is how we're handling this. So
Yes.
it goes back to that earlier when I said East versus West needs a public relations person, somebody to deal with the social media part of this. This should never have happened. Even if, Sarah, you were wrong completely, but you are not in any kind of way. But if you were 100% wrong, that is not the proper way to handle it if you were Engin. You should not even be talking to any of these athletes. The promoters that used your name on that, should handle everything that day. If you have
And
a
Paul,
with something going on, you contact James Reed, Chance Shaw, and you handle it with them. You don't go and start knocking somebody. You don't go and start making a post. My man, you have a couple of 100,000 followers. You are a very powerful force in this arm wrestling world, and you are abusing that power, putting them on a new up and coming female athlete, and you have a mass army that you have told a lie to and have them going trying to get at her now. What? That is just the most ridiculous thing when you break it down to that. What are you doing? That you are the one hurting East versus West when you do stuff like that. Am I wrong, guys? I want to get an outside perspective. Matt, what's your thoughts on this, man? Like the way that this was handled and all. You also have a big organization, the AWE over in Australia. How would you guys go about that?
Yeah, exactly right. The social media side of it, you'd almost want somebody to walk up and just slap the phone out of Engin's hand and go, stop, just stop. You're making this worse. Stop writing stuff. It's bad. You're not good at it. You're reacting emotionally. If the ideal way to respond to that situation would have been from a point of view, from the athlete's point of view, it's like, look, we apologize. We've messed up here. You've been confused. The rule was this. We're going to make it up to you by refunding your flights or something. Just like if you're going to continue with that rule, you're going to have to follow through with it. But to turn around and do the exact opposite, which is attack the person that was messed around, it's like, hang on, you were the ones who made the mistake here. You need to take responsibility for your actions. Running a promotion, yeah, people got things wrong. The message got confused. Athletes did, multiple weight classes. If you didn't want that to happen, but it's happened now, and now you need to address it and address it properly and be respectful. And it's like, okay, well, we've messed up. We're going to make it up to you. Even if it can't be, okay, you can't keep competing in multiple weight classes, but which one do you want to do? And we'll make sure that you get refunded, reimbursed. We'll do something to try to come away with a positive outcome here. That would have been the way to handle it. But I was amazed actually that when I read that post of Engin's, well, I probably shouldn't have been amazed because it seems to be the trend of his behavior, but it was like, how could you have done this the worst possible way? And that's what you what you got there. Attack the athlete. And then, obviously the people that are fans of Engin have jumped on that as well and just, decided to also attack the athlete. And it's like, you guys are insane. Like this is not the way that it should have been handled. Get a PR person. Stop doing your social media stuff. You're not good at it. You react emotionally. And you need somebody to step in and say, don't say that because it's the wrong thing to say from a public relations point of view.
He's acting as a dictator. He's intimidating people. He's intimidating people that don't have a platform, that can't defend themselves. And he's using his position as a weapon. And that's got to leave. He might be getting quick satisfaction now, but in the end, it's detrimental to the East versus West brand. And, Engin, I'm telling you this right now, man, we don't got to be friends, but I'm really depending on East versus West being the top organization and putting out a good representation to new people that are going to come into our sport. So I really strongly encourage you, man, to get this PR guy and just to fall back in the background and do what you're made to do, bro. Set the best matches in history. You don't need to talk to anybody on the outside. Talk to that little 2%, the top of the top. Do what you do to make the matches happen. You obviously have a gift with that, but leave everything else to other people. And I know in the past, because I've been in the inner circle with you, Engin, and I know that what you do is you tried bringing in a team, but I've also watched you micromanage them. And I've heard from all the people that you brought in, man, what you did, and it did not work well. You need to fall back, or this is not going to be a success anymore. So fall back, get a team around you. Each person should have their strength, and that's the part that they're going to contribute to the team. Don't micromanage them. Let them trust in them, man. Find the right players and just put them in a position and then believe in them. And just keep doing what you're doing. because, you know, this was just a very bad way of handling things. And, you know, I feel really bad that it's happened to you, Sarah. And, you know, and it's one thing if it's a male arm wrestler, you know, it still would be messed up, but I think it's just even doubles it when you put it on a female arm wrestler. And, you know, especially the female arm wrestler of North America that is behind putting all the ladies on the map, the one that is thrown the only all women's ladies event. You know what I mean? So it's like, bro, stop. Just please stop. Israel, what's your whole thoughts on this whole situation, man? Could there have been a better way to handle it? What would you have done if you were in that situation?
Well, I've been around for a little bit, and I've known how Engin is for a while. I definitely think that, you know, he should consider his position in the sport and how much he has grown, the impact that he can have on people, and you know, try to control his temper a little bit. I mean, I know he's a legend in the sport, and when it comes to arm wrestling, he's very respected and looked at as, like, you know, a legend put on his pedestal. But he needs to realize that he can't be, you know, attacking people like that. I mean, I can't see how he even, you know, decided that was the best way to go about it. As a promoter, you know, he definitely should not be getting involved like that, and, you know, responding to critique so personally, taking it so personally. I just think that maybe getting someone who intermediates between him and what he's feeling is a good thing. You know, I mean, the sport's only going to keep growing. More eyes are going to land on him. And I just don't want him to do anything that's going to hurt his production, hurt arm wrestling as a whole. You know, I mean, being volatile isn't a great thing.
Yeah, I totally agree. Sarah, is there anything else you would like to add to this?
So I said something similar that he did, that, you know, nobody's above constructive criticism. You know, there nothing in my post was bad. That I was giving feedback because I was a promoter myself. I will say this morning, over that particular post, I got a message, and I've got a lot of them, but it said that something about when you steal money, people that steal money need to kill themselves, and they will mail me the rope to do it. So, like, I have thick skin. I don't care what people think. I've said it over and over, but not everybody does. You know, not everybody would have called out Engin like I did. I knew what was coming, but I'm literally getting messages like that in my inbox that's like, go kill yourself. Like, come on now. It's not that serious. I'm going to laugh at it. Like, I really don't care. I tried to give feedback to make the sport better. And obviously, he listened, because rules are now being put in place and put down on paper and going to be released to the public because of all of this confusion. So a positive thing can come out of this.
Yeah, and hopefully he gets a PR guy. And I just seen Ryan Bowen just made a nice comment, and he said, Paul in for PR management. And I totally will back that 100%. That is somebody that Engin should definitely put in charge of his PR for sure. That would be a very, very smart move.
Paul Lynn did try to get that post down. I will say that he 100% said in holding, and he didn't back it. He did his best. But I don't know Inga as well as other people do, but apparently he does not listen. Because the only way he was going to remove that post is if I agreed to remove all of my posts, which I only made one. But I was not removing something and saying that I was wrong, because I was not wrong when I made that post. There's clarification and understanding now, but at the time things happened, this is the facts of what happened, and I'm not going to say there wasn't.
Yes. Totally agree with you. And I just, you know, it all just comes down to the whole PR situation. And I think that would resolve a lot of the problems. And also, I agree. Pradeep has been saying this for a couple years. Shout out to Pradeep and Arm Wrestling News. He's been pushing for rules, and he has just showed us why we need the rules written down. You know, you should be able to Google East versus West and get the rule set. I mean, it is the biggest organization, and there's no other sport that you go into that the biggest organization does not have a rule set, on paper for people to see, and then we don't have to be fighting with Engin and, asking Engin and all what the rules are. The promoters that are throwing the events in North America should already have that rule set, be familiar with it, and know how to handle everything. It should not be micromanaged, and that's where I feel like Engin does not want to give anybody control of anything, or when he does, he micromanages them. And I think that's where we're coming to a lot of problems. And I also want to shout out to the FAL, Chance Shaw, James Reed as well. We're not putting any blame or anything shade towards them. They did great event. They're great promoters. Behind them all the way, and there was nothing to do with them. This was out of their control. This was Engin's thing. Engin made the phone call. They were just following the boss's orders, and so nothing towards them at all. And what we're trying to do here is we're not trying to keep the war going and throw gasoline on it. We are trying to resolve it. We put out the facts. That's all we wanted to do. What I'm putting as suggestion is the PR. I just keep saying that PR. You need a PR guy, and that's the answer in my eyes. So we're not just trying to throw shade. We're trying to resolve things and come up with an answer of how to move forward. And I respect that. Thank you for coming on, Sarah, and giving us your story. I love what you do for our sport, and anybody that knows you is 100% backing you. They know you're a straight up person. You don't lie. You're a stand up person. If somebody does you wrong, you're not just gonna go and sweep it under the rug. You're gonna let it be known, even though if you're gonna get a lot of haters from it. You're a straight up person, and I respect that, and that's why I call you a friend, and I'm proud to call you as a friend, Sarah. So thank you for all that.
Thank you, friend. I appreciate you, Paul. Thank you for having me on.
You're welcome. Before we call it a night, I just want to quickly, Israel, I know it was a late start for you. You were over at your work and all, but is there any current events that happened this week that we need to catch up on? I mean, I pretty much feel like that we kind of did that right now and all, but is there anything that we missed on here?
I think you guys pretty much covered all the juicy stuff that's going on this week. I wish I would have been on sooner, but yeah.
Cool. And we're on for tomorrow, man. So we'll coordinate. You're coming over, get our training in for sure.
Yeah.
Matt, anything going on in Australia we need to know about? Anything coming up? Any big plans for AWE, or we'll catch up next week on that?
We were just talking about before that Richard Bornman, the guy who won the AWE Grand Prix, did get his picture on the front page of the newspaper in South Africa and a big article written about him. So that was a very special moment for him and for us. And yeah, he was absolutely wrapped, and all of his family were over the moon about that. So incredible moment.
Rieger Borman, he is just a phenom. I made a video, I think it was like a week and a half ago. If you haven't seen it already, go check it out on my YouTube. And it's like, I put it as the next phenom with question marks. And this dude, Rieger, man, he's a professional rugby player. He's came into the arm wrestling world in the last year and just tearing it up, man. And he trains pretty regularly with Lachlan Adair, I'm hearing. And, for what I'm hearing is they go back and forth. And we all know Lachlan's number one in Australia. Well, we know Riekert might be challenging that title soon, man. So shout out to Riekert, man. Definitely want to get him on. Maybe in the next couple of weeks, Matt, you could get Riekert on here. It would be great to have him on.
Matt, I wanted to ask you. So, you see how we've seen the video of him after pulling Lachlan. We know how that went, but you're a little closer to the action. You kind of know what's going on a little bit more behind the scenes. If you had to put money on it today, who would you bet on a match between Lachlan and Riekert? Is he really at that level already?
I'd pick Lachlan, 9 times out of 10.
Okay.
In that after pull, I mean, Lachlan was allowing Riekert to get into certain positions, and then he was not able to stop his power once he got there. But he did say, look, I can use momentum and speed, and I can just blast through him and get through the spots that I need to get to. So those areas are where Riekert still needs to improve. But Riekert's got the strength. He can get there. Once he gets his spot, he's incredibly hard to stop. But I think Lachlan is very confident that he could use his speed and momentum and experience to keep him out of those positions.
Yeah, I definitely could see that, man, because just like you said, when I seen that after poll, and I know how Lachlan polls, man. He was letting him get everything and letting Rickard hit on him. And I know Lachlan is very quick off the go, and when he hits, his shit is deadly. And I think that would kind of change the outcome and all. But just to say that this is even a conversation is just amazing for Rickard, that 1 year in and he's at this level already. I'd like to see him a year from now. That might be a different, answer right there. So
Without a doubt, it's extremely impressive, and I would honestly even like to see him start competing in the States. I mean, I've told a few people, and I don't say this from a bad place. I just say it in amazement, really, that he still looks like a very new arm wrestler on the table. He still looks like he's getting his bearings, and even then, the guy is so ridiculously strong. I really can't wait to see what he's going to look like, 2, 3, 4 years down the line.
well, I got
Oh,
a question for
absolutely.
you, Israel, right now. Do you think you could beat him today?
That would be a question that I would love to answer. I would love to just scrub up with him and see how he does. The dude is really impressive. I mean, he's definitely piqued my and everybody else's interest. That's for sure.
Well, I got to ask you this then. Have you ever lost to a guy that's only been a year in?
Never, and that's the very intriguing part. I know what guys feel like a year in. So even a strong guy. So for him to be beating everyone a year in is very impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I would.
what's insane is that he's got a younger brother in South Africa that beats him.
What?
Yeah. Yeah. He's got footage.
Whatever's in their water, man. They might be like the Georgians with their water, man. Holy shit.
That is crazy. Wow.
Hell yeah. So I would like to see that one day, man. Rickard versus Israel, because Israel's like my guy that I kind of like, I know where he's at, and I like to judge other pullers against him. And I hold Israel like really high level and in the super heavyweights, and he's about to show the rest of North America that. But I'd
man.
That would be a very cool match for sure.
That would be great, man. That would be great if we somehow managed to get him to the States. It'd be good to at least get the chance to meet him.
Hell yeah. Well,
oh yeah,
I want to call it a night, man. We had a great show, a lot of guests on, a lot of different big bombshell topics on here. It was a great night. Thank you guys for being a part of it. Israel will get up tomorrow, get our training in, get you on the table. Like I said, I got that new guy. Want to start getting him training on the table as well. Matt, thank you. Always a pleasure to have you on, brother. And everybody in the chat, thank you for all the support. If you guys haven't already, click that thumbs up again. And yeah, that's the end of the Arm Wrestling Buzz, episode 54. Let's finish it with a nice gun show. That's it. Hell yeah. Have a great night, everybody.
Have a good night, guys.